This video is sponsored by Yubico. Hey, what's up, s'mores? I'm Shannon Morse. I have mentioned Yubico's new firmware version 5.7 a few times this summer, and today I am partnering with the company to do a deep dive into the changes to the hardware keys, as well as updates to the app. Now, I have seen a lot of folks ask how the app can be beneficial if a website only accepts 2FA codes instead of a physical hardware key, and today I will show you an incredibly awesome hack that makes those 2FA codes even more secure. Is this your first time hearing about these little keys, these YubiKeys? That's totally fine. I have a whole playlist on my channel dedicated to education on these little devices, so watch that if you want to learn more. I've actually been a fan of YubiKeys since I was with Hack5 way back in the day on my previous YouTube channel, so I'm very, very excited to be able to partner with them this year. This is like a dream come true for me, and I love their product so much. Okay, so first we have YubiKeys version 5.7. This update brings a ton of new features that are going to make your digital life more secure and a lot easier, especially if you're managing YubiKeys for an entire team of employees. I'll put timestamps down below in this video so you can find the part that's most relevant to you. But just to get you started, if you find that you want to upgrade to a new YubiKey to take advantage of all the new features, or you haven't even gotten one yet and you want to better secure your online lifestyle, then hit up yubi.co/Shannon 2024 for $5 off a brand new firmware 5.7 YubiKey. That's yubi.co/Shannon 2024 for $5 off a new firmware 5.7 YubiKey. Let's go ahead and get into it. And if you hear my cat meowing in the background, that's because I'm not allowing her in the studio. Shh. Starbuck, be quiet. All right, first up, let's go ahead and talk about CTAP or CTAP 2.1. This is the latest and greatest in the world of FIDO2 and WebAuthn. CTAP means Client to Authenticator Protocol, and CTAP has a new feature with version 2. So TLDR, without going into the entire white paper, which I will link sources down below so you can read more on the technical specifics of this if you want to, CTAP 1 can only be used as a second factor, i.e. it does not support user verification using a PIN or a biometric. CTAP 2 does support user verification, and it's a much more versatile protocol. So an authenticator that implements CTAP 2 is called a FIDO2 authenticator. 2.1 is the newest version of this. Credential management was a thing for version 5.2.1, so Yubico has been working on these features for actually a long time. Now with version 5.7, your YubiKeys PIV and OpenPGP applications are also getting smarter. They now support Unicode pins, and each Unicode character counts as a single character. So that means that you can create super secure multilingual pins without the hassle. CTAP 2.1 also gives organizations better control over their YubiKeys, so you can now manage pin requirements, you can set minimum pin lengths, and even force users to change their pins on first use. So that's really perfect for keeping things secure without making your team's life harder. I mean, security has to be convenient, right? Right, exactly. Plus, if you're into enhanced asset tracking, which you probably should be if you're running a big field, a big team, then you can now retrieve serial numbers on Windows without needing any admin rights. Now, anytime I get a new YubiKey, I'm using an NFC YubiKey so that I can tap it on the back of my phone to authenticate anytime I want to set up a new phone, which kind of happens a lot because I review phones on this YouTube channel. And YubiKey 5.7 has something really, really special there too. Restricted NFC mode. So that makes sure that your YubiKey stays secure during shipping when it's coming to you, so no sneaky tampering before it actually gets to you. You will have to do a quick USB plug-in to fully unlock it, but Yubico also made that super easy. You just tap it against your phone, go to the URL, and you're good to go. Now this is my favorite part because I have a lot of accounts. YubiKey 5.7 also bumps up that storage game, so you can now store up to 100 passkeys, 24 PIV certificates, and 64 OAuth credentials. So if you're juggling multiple accounts and identities like I do, that's a huge game changer. This firmware update also makes your YubiKey future-proof with new cryptographic standards like RSA 3072 and ED 25519. This is super important if you're looking to stay compliant with upcoming security regulations. Now, this will likely affect government sectors or cybersecurity companies and employees more so than consumers, but it's still really important. It's also really cool. The price of the new firmware 5.7 YubiKeys has not changed, so if you're looking to upgrade, you can still snag one at the same price. And make sure to use that coupon code from my link to get $5 off. Or if you are just now hopping on that physical hardware key train, you won't be stuck paying more because you waited. I love that. I'm so glad they kept them at the same price. Now, personally, I have used YubiKeys for several years to protect my online accounts. It's so much more secure and convenient for me to set up a couple of different hardware keys to unlock my accounts quickly, especially now that I can manage all of my 6-digit codes in their Authenticator app, and I can secure that with a hardware key too, and I'm going to show you how. Okay, I'm guessing that you might have questions. You might have even plugged those in the comments down below already. I do have a whole video playlist on my YouTube channel that goes over every single common question you could even think of that you may have about YubiKeys. But if you are ready to take that next step in securing your online identity, again, ubi.co/Shannon2024 will get you $5 off that new firmware 5.7 YubiKey. That's ubi.co/Shannon2024 for $5 off. So here's how you can manage the new firmware keys with the new app, which is Yubico Authenticator version 7. I have it downloaded already on my Windows laptop as well as my Android phone. Yubico just dropped Authenticator 7, and it's packed with some really cool new features that make managing those YubiKeys a breeze. So if you are already a fan of version 6, you're gonna really love this update. They have added PIV support, which means that you can now manage private keys and certificates directly on your YubiKey. You can program Yubico OTP credentials, and you can set up static passwords with just a touch. So the app is now available on all major desktop platforms and Android. There are some sweet new iOS features coming soon as well. They have really upped the game with a very responsive user interface. It looks really great whenever you're on phone, tablet, or desktop. Plus, you can now customize your YubiKeys with labels and colors, so you will never mix them up. And let's not forget about the expanded management features for OAuth, FIDO2 WebAuthn, and again, PIV. Now, personally, I think the new app interface is a huge upgrade from previous versions. Props to everyone that was working on this because it is so user-friendly now. It looks so much better. So to run through the new app, plug in your YubiKey to unlock it. If you don't plug it in, then you're not going to have anything show up on your screen because that's the whole point of this Authenticator app, is to unlock it with your YubiKey. You will be able to choose your color, you can name your key, and you can also factory reset or toggle different protocols on and off. You can also change the app's theme, so you can do light or dark, or you can match it to your PC or your phone's theme. Now, under accounts, you can add an account via a QR code, you can customize icons for your accounts to easily find them, and you can set up a password. The passkeys setting will let you add passkeys, and if you have special certificates, you can also add them here. Then, if you want to take advantage of the Yubico OTP protocol feature, you can add those to your slots as a short touch or a long touch. Now, I also really appreciate that each and every single section here has a little highlight up at the top showing you which protocol that section aligns with. So for example, accounts is OAuth, passkeys is FIDO2, etc., etc. So that kind of aligns which protocol you're currently working with. On Android, your OAuth accounts and FIDO2 passkeys are available for access. You can also customize your app settings and the YubiKey name and color from the homepage. So one of my little pro tips, I made this key teal on both my laptop app and my Android app, so I can easily distinguish it whenever I tap it on either of those devices. So how does this help you if you run into a website that only supports 2FA codes? This happens all the time. A lot of websites still haven't upgraded to YubiKeys. I don't know what's wrong with them, but they haven't. So tons of sites don't support physical hardware keys. I know, it sucks. Only 6-digit codes. But you can use a hardware key with the Yubico app to safeguard the codes. A physical YubiKey is required to, again, unlock that app. So whenever you set up your app for the first time, nothing's going to be on screen except for a prompt to plug in your YubiKey. You plug it in, and then you go through the settings to add OTP accounts and passkeys. You click Add Account, and it's going to ask you to scan a QR code. Now, if you've set up 6-digit codes on websites before so that you have to plug them in after your username and password, then I'm sure this question about QR codes is going to look pretty familiar to you. Since this is a new YubiKey, it has no accounts authenticated with it, so my app is completely empty. I'm going to go over to the Instagram website as my example for this video. Now, technically, Instagram does not let you use a physical key to securely log into your account, but it does let you type in a 6-digit code after you input your password. Now, when the Yubico Authenticator tells you to add an account and scan a QR code, this is how you find one of those QR codes. The QR code will come from the website or the app that you want to secure. So if we are working with Instagram, you go into your settings for Instagram, you find the security settings, and you choose to enable 2FA or multi-factor. Every single website will have this listed a little bit differently, so you just look for something that's similar to that. Instagram is going to give you a QR code on the screen. This is the only time you will see this QR code after you set it up, unless you completely refresh and revamp your security settings and setup. So go ahead and save or screenshot that QR code and keep it safe in case you want to add a secondary YubiKey as a backup for logging in. Now, if you already have 2 YubiKeys, you can set up both YubiKeys before clicking to the next page on Instagram. That QR code should be kept in a very safe place, preferably offline, like stored on a flash drive inside a safe, for example. It's not something that you will need to access every day, so don't leave it in a convenient spot online that anybody could find. So we've got the QR code, and now we can scan it with the unlocked Authenticator app. Upon doing this, the app will register your Instagram account as an OAuth token for that specific YubiKey. Then what you can do is you can scan a second YubiKey. The nice thing is this QR code can be scanned as many times as you want. So if you wanted to scan it a second time with a secondary YubiKey plugged in, you can totally do so. On the next page, it's going to give you a 6-digit code that you then type into Instagram. Instagram will authenticate and register the Yubico Authenticator and give you access to backup codes. Now, I've mentioned backup codes many times. These come in handy if you ever lose your key or you can't unlock your app. You print and save these backup keys into a place that is offline and secure. You get a list of those backup codes, and each one can only be used once. Once you are all set up, you can log out of Instagram, and then you can test this new login experience. So you log out, log back in with your username and password, and then unlock the app with your key and type in that 6-digit code. Now, why is this safer than just using an alternative app with a 6-digit code? Because the Yubico Authenticator 7 app can only be unlocked with your specific key. If you try to unlock the app with any other key, the app is not going to show you any codes because the app codes are tied to the key that you are holding. This also means that it's not tied into any specific phone, so it's easier to transfer codes to a new phone because it's structured around the key, not the phone. Better yet, if you're worried about your key being stolen, you can lock your key with a passcode or a PIN. And somebody would still need your username and your password on top of the key and the key's PIN or the passcode to get access to the 2FA codes. Now, there are a lot of apps that still only support SMS text for codes, which is better than nothing, but if given the option to upgrade to a code or a hardware key, this way I am making it harder for anybody to break into any of my accounts. And since the new YubiKeys with firmware 5.7 also have more storage, that's totally future-proofing my security. Now, I want to know how you are using your YubiKeys. You can comment down below and let me know your thoughts. And again, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you to Yubico for sponsoring this video. I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.